Hey friends, I want to share with you my journey with Yes Bank. How I made, good amount of money. I made like 25 lakh ish, and but journey was not very easy. Let me show you what I did exactly. I had a FOMO somewhere, here when stock was going up, and I was tracking this stock for a very very long time. My journey, investment journey, started in 2003. But at that time, I started with the mutual fund. That was the first time I started, job, and I had some surplus. Uh, in 2017, when I saw this stock going up, like any other retail investor, I realized that this stock is has a good promise. Bank was doing good, and its management was like a rock star in management. So I invested in 2017 around, I feel 300 plus I invested somewhere, and then it started falling. But since I had a long experience of burning my hands, and by then this time I had started using strict stop losses. So as soon as it went down, I normally take 10% hit. If my investment thesis goes wrong, I exit. Somewhere here, I feel I exited at 300 and around 10% less. But by then there was a bad story which was already emerging, and people started saying that it's doing bad, and the management is not transparent, balance sheet is not good. So all these stories started emerging, and I exited. Now bank reached at 120 somewhere. I feel that that is the time when it was deeply falling, and like retail investor, I invested again in at 120. I thought, what wrong can it what wrong can go, you know so I since I had a stop loss and it was a falling knife, it hit very fast. And good thing about, by this time I already had a fair idea that never go into investment from day one with a very big amount. So amount I invested was very less, and I can take those hits because I my few bets go wrong, few go good. And this way, when I ramp slowly, I mostly most of the time my bets, I stay in the investment when it is doing good. In this case, it was doing bad, so I exited. Now again, bank went low, and somewhere when there was bailout news, since I had seen stories of Satyam when government bailed out, I had seen stories of Bhushan Steel. I had invested in these those companies at that time, so I knew that I had a hunch. I No one knows in investment or in stock market, for certain. But I had a hunch that it can't go very very low below 10 or so, but it did. And that was a time when I was certain that this is the time to make a kill. And I started adding a big amount. I added, in fact, my total investment was 50 lakh plus at that time, and my average was 10 point something. But other thing which I have learned over the long period of my investment journey, now it's 20 years, is there won't be any irrational jumps in such kind of stocks once people already have burned their hands and they realize. And there are many other investors who are invested in this stock. So there was a huge dilution of equity first. Other thing is, banking is very bad business. It's not, if it is not done in a right way. Otherwise, and it can be very very good if it is done in a good way, because giving money is very easy, taking it back is very very difficult. So risk management is the key. Otherwise, banking business is very easy. You give money to people and get the interest and get the principal later back. So once you have big NPS, it takes very very long time. We have seen journey of IDBI Bank. We have seen journey of many other banks in past. So based on my experience, I knew that this bank is not going to to make a see, the market cap is 46 right now at 16 rupees, right? So if it has to go like double or triple from here, it has to go like with a market cap of 1 lakh plus. And that is like banks the size of Kotak Bank, or not very big bank but a relatively smaller bank. They are of that size. So do you feel Yes Bank can reach there so fast? I don't feel so. So I don't feel this, beyond this it is going to rise because of all the NPAs. And also I don't see that they are going very very aggressive on and with the risk mitigation like banks like Federal Bank or IDFC First Bank or Equitas Small Finance Bank. So their growth rate is also not very high. Other thing I track is I track the results every quarter, and that can give you a fair idea about what management is saying and whether that story is reflecting in the results. So I don't see that story reflecting in after 1 or 2 quarters. So when it reached 16 or 17, I exited at that time. Although stock went up beyond that my price, it went to like 20. I did not feel anything bad because once you are invested heavily, so you want to preserve your capital also. And other thing about these things, this kind of investment is when you do concentrated bet, you don't sleep very well, frankly. I mean, you read all about that management, all about that bank or company, and you track each and every day, every moment. And I was with the strict stop loss. But once it went up, my original price, which was 10.5 or so rupees, and I had a good safety of margin, I could have stayed if I wanted. But my plan was not that. I wanted to exit at the right time, and I felt that 16 to 17 is a fair value for this bank. So that is how I exited, and I made some money. I wanted to share this thing with you guys, and I hope you learned something. So one of the key lessons which I learned over the longer period of my investment journey is, if you have a very fair idea about a company, if you have invested lots of your time in tracking the company, in listening the results, listening to the management, looking at number of branches they had. Yes Bank is very good bank. I mean, if that franchise is very good. Only problem is now equity is diluted, and NPAs are still not that good, although they have now given it to their NPAs or their bad loans. They are moving to that bad bank. But still, I mean, bank is good. There are many branches, but problem is it's sick bank right now. So one of the key learning I had from all this process is, don't even if you burn your hands in early days with small amount of money, still those companies can generate some or create some opportunity for you. Okay, so don't leave your learning and take good bets at times when you feel that those bets can play. And of course experience helps. If you are in market for a very very long time, then you will understand that these things they play their very fair uh, role in your success. All right. So in Yes Bank case, I burnt my hands on at the price of 300 plus. I burnt my hands at the price of 120, but my bets were small, because that is how you should enter. You should enter with a very small amount, not very high amount, and with the strict stop loss. Because if you go wrong in such stories, which are turnaround stories, it can go really really bad. I mean, if I had waited at 300 plus, now my capital would have become almost zero. And if I even waited at 120, my capital would have become very very small. So I exited. But when I realized that this story is turning out to be like Satyam story, when government is bailing out, so I had no doubt that it will work at and I thought that I'll have margin of safety also when I am investing at sub 10, and then I averaged, and I got a average of 10.5. So I feel, considering the size of the bank, that was a steal, and I do invest this way, and I do make some money once in a while, like in Bhushan Steel, like in Satyam, I made some money. So these are once in lifetime opportunities, I feel, and a investor should keep an eye on such investments. And I hope I shared something which can help you. All right. Thank you.